Change is scary. Growth is scary. And it's completely, completely normal. Imagine for a moment, you're never going to stop growing. Hello and welcome to the Business of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and today is going to be a great day. Today is a fabulous day because we're talking about one of those things that is so uncomfortable, and that is growing, changing, growth, personal growth in any aspect of your life. Why is growth so hard? Why is it so difficult, even when we know we're doing the right thing? You know, especially when we're stepping into our dreams. How many times in your life have you had something spectacular happen to you where you literally wished it into being, like manifested something so incredible and it felt so scary? That's what we're diving into today. Why is growth and change so difficult? Here's the great news. Before we even start out today, the great news is there's nothing wrong with you. That's a great news. The news is phenomenal because I'm telling you the truth. There is nothing wrong with you. And so if you have found yourself sabotaging some wonderful events in your life, you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. Your body is doing exactly what it should. But we don't have to accept it. We don't have to settle for it. There are ways to become comfortable with change. Okay, so what am I even talking about here? Have you ever looked at these incredible people who become enormously successful in their lives and burn down very soon after having enormous success and wondered, what is going on here? Why are there so few very wealthy, successful stars that stay up there in the upper echelon? Why does everyone crash and burn? Or in your own life, have you ever noticed perhaps you've been dreaming of a phenomenal relationship, an intimate one, or even a friendship that feels so good, and you can feel yourself stepping into this thing that you've always wanted. You finally found this incredible human, and then you do something to mess it up, full well knowing that this will probably crumble the relationship. Okay, here's another example for you. When we moved into our new home last year, and maybe this will resonate with some of you because I know so many people have been moving recently. We lived in this beautiful home, 2021. We'd been there for 11 years. Loved that house. There was nothing wrong with that house. The house was fabulous. However, my sister-in-law, who is a realtor, who is phenomenal, if you're looking for someone in Maine and who's an incredible realtor, listen, call me up, DM me, let me know because I will hook you up with this phenomenal human being. She is spectacular. Anyway, she found this beautiful house, truly a dream house here in Maine. We weren't even looking, but when we stepped onto the sacred soil of this property, and I swear it is sacred, Killian and I both knew instantly we had to live here. It was everything we'd ever dreamed of. Now, granted, we weren't looking. We weren't trying to level up our home. But man, this home was spectacular. I just knew that we would be so enormously happy here. And it gave my husband an opportunity to buy a tractor, which has been his childhood dream of his whole life. So the opportunity to buy and own a tractor and have land to use it on was everything. And for me, it was the incredible view from this home. And the house itself is spectacular too. I mean, it was a stretch for us. We never imagined we could possibly live in such a gorgeous space, in such an incredible community. But we found it. We fell in love with it. And we took the leap and we made the move. It was up-leveling for us in so many ways. It was saying yes to a part of ourselves that we've always wanted to say yes to. For us, that was being in a farming community. That's something we've always dreamed of. For us, it was having a little bit more land and opportunity to just breathe. For us, it was this gorgeous space that just represented a new, fresh start and a new identity for ourselves and for our family. It was all good, positive things. And as soon as we started getting closer to the move date, fear stepped in. We started second guessing ourselves. Now, we had done the numbers. We knew we could afford this gorgeous home. There was nothing stopping us. But all of a sudden, we started noticing fear step in. Change is hard. We started second guessing our decision. We started thinking, why are we really leaving the home that we actually loved? We started questioning, is it really a wise decision to just jump because it feels good? Should the feeling good be enough to make a big change? Even in our family, everyone started feeling a little bit uncomfortable. In fact, I started noticing in myself other parts of my life taking a back seat. I started neglecting my nutritional choices. I started neglecting my personal health. I was sabotaging myself in other areas that I had down pat. Why is change so hard? Even positive change. Even when you're stepping into a new job, a new role, something you'd always wished for, why is there that uncomfortable transition time? Well, here's why. Your nervous system, your body, is solely there to keep you safe. That's it. Change challenges safety. Growth challenges safety. Even if you're growing into something better, even if you're stepping into some bigger, more aligned version of yourself. If you've ever been in toxic relationships and that felt comfortable to you and you'd leave one toxic relationship to go to another and you keep thinking, why do I keep doing this? Why can't I just feel a great relationship and be there in a great relationship? Why do safe partners feel boring and I constantly look for those challenging, toxic relationships, even if they're hurting me? And that's because change is stepping outside your comfort zone. Change is stepping outside your zone of familiarity. Change feels hard, even when it's positive change, even when it's growth. And so what we tend to do is sabotage, get uncomfortable in our own skin. We start to fear our decisions. We start to question our decisions, even when it's exactly what we wanted. And that is completely normal. It's completely normal, but it doesn't have to be the way you live with yourself. It doesn't mean you have to stay the same, because we all have great dreams that we want to chase after, that we want to reach after. We want to feel better. Always. We want to feel happier. We want ease and joy and success and happiness, and we deserve it. And sometimes we are our own worst enemies because we make it hard. And that's normal. Your body, your nervous system just wants you to be the same, even if it's toxic, because the same is predictable. The same feels safe, even when it's bad for you. That's why we stay in jobs that are not good for us for so long, because the challenge of change feels so scary. All right, so how do we do this then? How do we feel safe in change? How do we expand ourselves? You know that analogy of a rubber band? How do we stretch ourselves enough to find growth, to expand our zone of familiarity without snapping? How do we stretch ourselves just enough to where we don't burn out or self-sabotage or just give up? What we need to do is create safety, not just within our mindset, but within our bodies. So the first thing is to understand and recognize when your body doesn't feel safe. And that's that sympathetic nervous system stimulating, that shallow breath, that anxiety beginning to rise, catching it before it's a 10, feeling it when it's a little bit of a 1. Ooh, I feel this discomfort. For me, it can even be like a rumbling in my stomach or tightening in my shoulders and my neck. And when I start to feel that, even when I'm stepping into good growth, positive growth, growth that I've been wishing for and manifesting through journaling or visualization, that's when I feel that little bit of anxiety in my body. I need to take a pause and do one of these exercises. I think you know by now, if you've been listening to the Business of Happiness, my go-to, pause and take a breath. That's everything. When we intentionally take deep, intentional breaths, hold it at the fullness of our lung capacity, and then fully exhale, and do so, I prefer with my eyes closed and my hands on my heart. When we do so, we are stimulating our parasympathetic nervous system. So we're taking that immediate fight or flight response of uncomfortable new change, stepping into a new version of ourselves and getting a little bit of anxiety, and we're asking our bodies to calm down. Because when we're in that parasympathetic nervous system sympathetic nervous system, when we're in that sympathetic nervous system fight or flight state, we don't think clearly. We literally hijack our brain right through our amygdala and take a first action of urgency. And that urgent action can sometimes be the self-sabotage. That's when we say something mean or hurtful to the person who's so loving to us. That's when we eat something on a whim, when we're just getting comfortable. We're just learning to be more intentional about how we're eating and caring for our bodies. That's when we suddenly don't show up for our business, when we've just stepped into a new, greater version of our business, a new, more successful version, when we start making decisions that from a place of fear or lack, when we know that's not the right thing to do. It's because we're hijacking our amygdala and going straight through our amygdala, through the fight or flight, sympathetic nervous system, cortisol washing through our body. When we take a deep breath, we can slow it down. If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you didn't get into business to be miserable. The problem is that people feel that if their business gets busier, if they start becoming more successful, that happiness will eventually set in. But it can actually get worse. This is why I created the Business of Happiness Prosperity Coaching. In this one-on-one coaching, we look at how to redefine success on your terms and re-find the joy and the passion in your dream. Visit me at thebizofhappiness.com and become the happiest business owner you know. Calm that emergency reaction of our bodies and start using our forebrain for creative problem solving. Breath work is my go-to. In fact, I don't just do it when I feel anxiety. I do it in anticipation of my day and to end my day. I'm trying to train my nervous system to live in this space of safety and then constantly stretching, growing my business, growing my relationships, growing my comfort with enormous success and happiness. And one of those things right now, honestly, is living in ease. That's been a challenge for me. But I'm trying to get more and more comfortable with ease and play and comfort. Trying to get safe, feel safe in that space. Okay, so breath work is one way to get your nervous system regulated to this new space of growth. Another way is tapping, emotional freedom technique tapping. And if you're watching me on the YouTube channel, you'll see I'm tapping right now. There's certain places on our body where we tap, and those places, those spots on our face or our head, our jawline, collarbone, or the karate chop, which is the side of the hand, those were all derived from the meridians from Eastern medicine and intended to give us access to our nervous system to calm ourselves down. Well, the way that emotion freedom technique works, and please, I am not an expert in this, but I've used it even as not being an expert and found it to work enormously well for me. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you look into it a little bit more. But for me, I go straight to tapping, even just right under my collarbone, both hands. And what I do is I acknowledge how I feel first. Remember, we're never going to be emotionally bypassing, meaning we're never going to ignore the emotions that are coming up. So if I go back to that time last year, notice immediately I start breathing. But I go back to that time last year when we just moved in to our new home. And I started yelling at Killian, finding things wrong, looking for control. That, by the way, is one of my fear responses. I start controlling everything around me. Maybe that sounds familiar to some of you incredible, ambitious businesswomen. When we feel a little nervous or scared, we start looking for control. So that's what I did. I started looking for control, controlling everything in the house. So when I think back to that time, and I imagine what I would have served me and how I would have used EFT, this tapping technique, to calm my nervous system down, this is what I would have done. I would have started tapping and then actually speaking out loud how I feel. Right now, I feel anxious. We're in a new home and I'm scared. Then what I do is I give myself permission to feel my feelings. It's okay to feel scared. It's completely normal to feel scared. What I just did, by the way, if you're not looking on the YouTube channel, I switched over to a new tapping location. For me, that's the karate chop. It's on the fatty, meaty part of your hand on the outside of your pinky finger. It's okay to feel scared. Growth is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. This feeling is just my nervous system trying to keep me safe. Thank you for keeping me safe. I love that part, by the way. I thank my body for its reaction. I normalize it. I recognize, hey, this is just me trying to keep me safe. This is just me trying to keep me in what I know. Thank you, nervous system, for trying to keep me safe. And then I tell myself, but I've got it from here. What I'm doing now is I'm switching to tapping on top of my head. It is safe in my new home. We've done the math. We've looked at the finances. We can afford this beautiful home. Now I'm switching, by the way, to tapping right under my eye. It is safe to be in this beautiful space. It is safe to accept the beauty of this beautiful home. It is safe to receive it. I'm switching to tapping just on my jawline. It is safe to be in this home. I love this new home. I deserve this beautiful new space. I am worthy of this beautiful space, and I am safe. Oh my gosh, just doing that brings me so much calm. I love this exercise. And like I said, I'm not even doing it by the book. The emotional freedom tapping technique works so well. You really can't mess it up, which is why I like it. Because when I'm in a place of anxiety or fear, I really have a hard time thinking through a new process. And that's why even if you're not skilled at EFT, it works really well. You just start tapping. You just start tapping on one of those places and follow that easy algorithm. Just acknowledge what you're feeling, number one. Number two, make it okay. Do so with gratitude. Thank your body for making you feel this way, for trying to keep you safe. And number three, create new language of safety in this new space, in this new zone, which right now feels uncomfortable, but we're going to imagine that we're creating a new zone of comfort. Because now, a year after living in this home, yeah, this is exactly where I belong. I love this place. This is my new zone of comfort. I'm ready now to stretch a little bit more in other areas of my life. A third way to feel really safe in a new, stretched growth version of yourself is journaling. And I love this because I love journaling. Something about writing it down on paper. For me, it doesn't work to do typing on the computer. I'm not sure why. But integrating safety by writing it down works really well for me. I put on some beautiful music. I personally light a candle. I create a warm, comforting space for myself. And then I just start journaling everything I know to be true. You know, when we bought this house, we really thought about it. Or if you're in a new relationship, you can remind yourself of all the great things about it. Or if you're stepping into a new growth space of your business, that is uncomfortable too. It's one of those things we don't often talk about. When you have great growth after really doing some intentionally great work in your business, that new space of growth can feel so scary. Creating safety by journaling works really well. And then the last step or another option for you in terms of creating safety when you're feeling uncomfortable with change is visualization exercises. These work really well for me as well. And it's been proven scientifically. This is what great athletes do before they run a big race or the ski jumpers do. It's a visualization of doing an excellent performance and feeling safety in it. So closing your eyes and imagining yourself in this new space, but in a safe way. Picturing yourself comfortably, easily, happily going through your day. So for me, with the new home example, I would close my eyes and picture myself and my family having a wonderful time in this new home. Picture the future in our home. Picture relaxed Sunday mornings. Picture us hiking around the property. Those kinds of visualization exercises create safety in your nervous system. It gives us new evidence that we are safe in this new space. Works very well for business owners as well. When you can remind yourself of safety in this new space. Sometimes, especially in growth in business, we tell ourselves this is scary because it's going to mean a lot of extra work. Well, a great technique for that is visualizing all the support that you have around you. Reminding yourself of all the team that you've grown over time and the new team that awaits you, the expanded team to be there to support and grow with you. Change is scary. Growth is scary, and it's completely normal. Imagine for a moment you're never going to stop growing. Imagine that you're always going to feel this little challenge, this little discomfort in stretching that rubber band. And imagine that that's completely normal. There's nothing wrong with you. Now, imagine that you can harness that new knowledge, that new awareness of discomfort, and create safety for yourself so that you can effortlessly keep growing. I'm not saying those moments of fear are not going to come. Absolutely they will. And thank you, nervous system, for being there to make sure I'm safe. But I get to decide now. I get to take the driver's seat. I get to sit in the front seat and drive this bus of growth and change and reaching for happiness. Because I know that when I feel good, I can do great things in this world. I can love my family more. I know that I deserve growth and change. So, my friends, I hope that this has helped you today. I hope you appreciate just 4 easy techniques for getting comfortable with change, for getting comfortable with new growth. I have so many more, and if you're interested, give me a DM, send me a message, or send me an email. Tarryn at thebizofhappiness.com. That's TARRYN at thebizofhappiness.com. Reach out to me. If you're a business owner who is being challenged with new growth, feeling scary, let me know. I'd love to help you, especially in the dental arena, because we have so much good to give. You are doing so many great things in this world, and you and your community and your patients and your team and your family deserve your expertise, and they deserve the very best version of you. Until next time, my friends, remember, when you feel good, that's when you do good. Bye-bye.